It's Monday, November 18th, and you're listening to the Geek at Geek News Central, the longest continuous running tech podcast. This is show 906, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. GoDaddy Website Builder makes it easy to create your own website, put your business online, and find new customers. Choose from hundreds of customizable designs, and you're on your way. Website Builder even includes a free domain name, hosting, and 24/7 support. It's go time. Visit GoDaddy.com and enter promo code WSB5 and get Website Builder for only $1 a month. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Hey, folks, you know what comes next? Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There's no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Showtime.
Aloha and welcome to Geek News Central, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Honolulu. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm trying to, I guess for a better word, juggle three things at the same time right now. Being away for the past week has me a little rusty on getting started tonight. So I'm thinking I'm just about ready to, there we go. It never fails. There's always something. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show. And, of course, we want to make sure that we say hello to all of our longtime listeners and of course, the Ohana. Hey, welcome back. And I tell you, it was nice to have a whole week off. It really was. Sometimes you need that to just kind of recharge the battery. But back with you tonight. Got a lot to discuss. Basically what's been going on, and of course cover a lot in the tech side as well. So if I can press the right button here, let me bring this there we go. What I was trying to do for those of you that are watching was, there we go, got in the right position now. It's a little bug that we put up in the corner for the Geek News Central logo. But again, warm welcome. And if you're new to the show, hey, thanks for being here and checking us out. We want to make sure that you get over to geeknewscentral.com and really check out all the content on the website. Our writers are busy. We've had a bunch of CES innovation winners been announced in the last week here. So we've been putting some of that data up on the website for you, along with lots of content. We had a great guest on the new media show this past Saturday. I'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But really, when you're over the website, get subscribed to the show. You can see the subscribe links there on the second column of the website. And, of course, our newsletter is available as well. You want to get signed up for our newsletter because, really, I send out an email blast after every show. It contains all the show notes, all the links to everything I've talked about in tonight's show. If you don't want to get the email, just come over to gncshownotescom/906. That'll get you all the links as well. We don't carry them on the geeknewscentral.com website, largely because Google penalizes me when I put a list of about 30 articles with all the associated links, one after the other, in a single blog post. So that's the reason they're over at gncshownotescom. Of course, you can watch this show anytime on the Tech Podcast channel on the Roku, Boxy, Samsung Smart TV, Google TV, Chromecast. Really, anywhere you've got a browser or glass, you can watch the show. If you listen, don't worry. We've got it available in audio as our primary distribution method. So you can get subscribed either way to the audio or video portion of it. Of course, you can reach me real easily on Twitter. At geeknews@gmail.com is the email address. And, of course, you can reach me at Twitter on @geeknews. If you want to send a comment about today's show, it's real easy as well. If you're on the website, all you got to do is scroll down on the website itself, and you're going to see a link there that basically says send GNC a voice message. You click on that, and it's going to take you over to our page. And all you got to do is click the green button there. It says start recording, and once you're done, that sends it to me via email. That way you'll get your comment in on the show. So we encourage you to do that. All right, well, let's see here. Let me get you guys kind of caught up. Well, first of all, we're streaming live tonight on Ustream. I mean, YouTube, not Ustream. For some reason, I got Ustream on the mind. Been talking about them a little bit with some other folks, but we're streaming live tonight up on YouTube. And, of course, tonight's show is brought to you in part by our friends over at GoDaddy. And, you know, they have put together just a simply incredible array of deals for us this month. And if I can get my... I'm all two thumbs tonight. For those of you watching the video, two thumbs in operating the TriCaster. So really, GoDaddy's put together an incredible array of offers, and they do every month. But this month, really a special offer for all of you that have a business, and it's about their website builder program. And really, what they've done here is they've made available an introductory deal that is just simply too hard to really resist. For $1 a month, you get a website that will get you found on Google, Yahoo, Bing. It's fast, it's reliable, it's on Linux, it's got a hosting cPanel. They've not only .coms, but they've got hundreds of other domains they're coming here in the near future. But you get a free .com with this account, and it costs you $1 a month. So that's just, you know, if you think about it, $12 gets you the website builder with all their templates and great graphics and interface to commerce stuff. It's really an amazing, amazing deal. And again, for $1 a month, you get that account. And then $8.49 is about what a regular domain costs when they're not on sale. So really, you're getting the site for like $350 for a year. But definitely check it out. And use the promo code WSB5. You can find all the promo codes on my website at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. All of them are there. They've got the 30% off your order deal as well. So if you don't want to get the website builder, want to pick something else up, the 30% off really is a great deal to utilize. It's a great discount. You can also get a .com for $1.99. So if you just want to pick up a .com by itself, 199 Geeks is the code. And we also got that $1.99 economy hosting for 12 months with a free domain by using HostOff3 as a promo code. Now, I am having a phone call with my GoDaddy rep this week because the .com renewal, ComSale 3, the code that many of you, including myself, have used for many, many years, that code has dropped dead. They've had some repricing. I'm asking for a new code for renewals. They're working on it. But this is the second code that has dropped for us in really the past 2 or 3 months. We lost the $12.99 SSL certificate deal, and now the $8.49.com renewal is really a pretty big blow because you guys use those codes, man, religiously. And I'm like, hey, quit taking the offers away. Let's get some more offers on the table. They've got these great introductory offers, but ultimately I want to make sure that those of you that are been with me and have gotten great deals all these years continue to do so. Now, I understand that, I kind of understand their strategy a little bit, but I also want to make sure that we continue to bring, great deals for all of you that are existing. And, basically, you can use a lot of the percentage off codes for a variety of products and services. But when it comes to the domain renewals, really the only way you get a discount is if you have a code or if you buy more. If you have more than like 5 domains or 10 domains, you get a discount that way. There's multiple ways to get discounts on the renewals, but I want to make sure that we have one for you there to use and I get no credit when you use the .com renewal code. That makes $0 that goes into Geek News Central's pockets. It's more of a code there that I have for you guys to use to continue to get greater value. So the ComSale code at $7.99 is still available for, again, but with these $1.99 deals, why you even use the ComSale code? So again, lots of codes, 20% off $20 off your order of 75 or more by using Aloha as your code. Central gets you $10 off any order $50 or more. Geek gets you $5 off any order $30 or more. And then a variety of other codes there that are on the website at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. So check them all out. And we want to thank GoDaddy for being a sponsor here. And we'll get them on the line and have a discussion. And we've got some other things to discuss, too, for going into 2014. So look forward to being able to continue to bring you great deals. And so you guys continue to reap great savings. That's what it's all about, making sure you guys stay hooked up, right? Okay, so let's just, kind of talk about a couple of things. Number one, today is my wedding anniversary, 19 years strong with my lovely wife, Shoko. And, boy, I tell you, 19 years. Her and I were talking. We had dinner. She made a very nice roast tonight. And you remember, she's Japanese, so we do a lot of rice and Asian-style meals here. I love, really any cuisine. I don't think I've looked like I've missed too many meals in my lifetime. But so tonight she was thinking about me, and she cooked a nice roast, and we had baked potatoes. It was fantastic. And my two of my kids are at swim practice, and my youngest son was here. We were all kind of chatting at the dinner table, and it was nice. But 19 years strong, and she may be heading out to Okinawa on Thursday. When someone dies in the Japanese culture, they have anniversaries, and it just kind of like Catholics do wakes and follow-on years. The Japanese part of the Japanese religion, and basically at the 3-year mark, is a really big deal. I think it's 1, 3, and 7. I may have those wrong, but on the third year, it's really, really big deal. So she's going to go home. At least that's the plan right now. Fly out on Thursday and be there for 2 or 3 weeks and visit with her mom and her sisters and enjoy some time there. So I'll be running crazy here, taking care of the gang, running solo, but that's what we do when we support our spouses. But she really, if you think about it, here I am doing the show tonight, and it's my anniversary. A lot of wives would not put up with that at all. And so she's been really patient over these past 9 years in making sure that a Monday night, a Thursday night really gets blocked out for you guys, and big events like today are no exception. So I hope you guys all appreciate it. One thing that we are going to have to do is I may have to shift a couple of Thursday shows over the next couple of weeks, depending on really what's going on with my kids, because my kids don't finish their swim practice until 8 p.m. And so I'm going to be in town. So we may shift the Thursday show to a Wednesday, or it may shift to a Friday. I'll keep you guys advised. We'll still continue to do 2 shows a week, or it'll be a later show on the Thursday for over the next couple of weeks. Now, probably will not be doing one on Thanksgiving, so it's probably not an issue for the show that would happen on the 28th. But she is still going to be gone November 5th, and I believe right now, tentatively, so maybe only one show affected when we get into December. So I'll keep you guys advised. But for now, everything's good, and we continue to motor along. So let me talk a little bit. The glass invites obviously went out. I know a couple of people have already, from the Ohana, have ordered, and looking forward to getting their feedback from getting glass and hearing about their experience. So I know those folks that we sent the invites to, we want them to check in and maybe the video of how they're using glass. So we'll keep you guys advised on that, and hopefully we'll hear something. I already heard from one of the audience members already, and I know he was supposed to get his stuff today, so maybe he's usually in chat, so we'll see if he pops in later tonight. All right, CES prep continues. A lot of things going on. We're working on basically getting our partners signed, so we basically get the sponsorship money in place to take care of everything we want. All the services and have been ordered. Everything is good, so we're moving forward there at light speed. Had a meeting Saturday with some of the team members, but it really, things are just continue to cook forward, and we'll continue to talk about it. I do want to share with you guys tonight. You guys knew I was out last week, and I know that some of you want me to get right into the tech content, and I'll do that here in a few minutes. But I really think it's important for me to share I'm going to get my iPad opened up here because I had notes written. Last week I was at Techonomy 13 in Tucson. And it was, well, for a better word, it was a pretty incredible event. The participants that were at the event were pretty diverse. And some were very, I guess, upper tier. We had GMs, we had CEOs, we had CIOs, we had CMOs. I had lunch on Monday with Craig. Monday, oh boy, I'm going to destroy this. I better look him up here before I make myself look bad here. It was Craig Mundy. He was a senior advisor to Steve Ballmer, CEO of Microsoft, and had a great lunch with him along with a couple other people at the show, and got to meet a lot of folks. Got to meet Tony Heisch from Zappos, the CEO of Zappos, along with just this whole list of other really big names. And Tony made a big impression on me, and I'm going to share. I want you guys, listen, this is, if you don't do anything from today's show, I want you to watch the video that I'm going to link you to in the show notes that Tony did talking about his revitalizations and an initiative he has going on in Las Vegas. Matter of fact, fortunate enough today, I've been emailing back and forth with Tony. We're going to have something special for you when we go to Vegas for CES. We're going to be covering some of his startups. We're going to be going into Zappos. So we'll talk about that more as we move forward. But this video, and I'll get into that in a few minutes, but let me just kind of share with you guys a couple of things. And really, to encompass everything that happened at this conference is, in really 10 minutes or so here is impossible. So a lot of the sessions were recorded, and I'm going to point you at a couple in the show notes to go look at and review that really kind of twisted my brain a little bit. And there was really some high-level discussion. Some of the sessions were better than others, but one thing I saw, one of the first presentations, they were using Gapminder. Have you guys heard about Gapminder? And let me see if I can bring this up. Gapminder is a tool that it basically allows, it's a stat system, and it really looks at everything. It looks at wealth. It talks about life expectancy. It talks about a whole bunch of really cool things, and it shows trends of things that happen over time. And they use all kinds of indicators and statistics, and it's really, really, really cool. And it's something I think all of you should give a try. And it's just nothing else. Spend 5 minutes on the site, 10 minutes on the site, and play with it. And if you're stats junkie like I am, you're really going to get a lot out of it. Another thing that I found pretty insightful, and they were handing out a book that was about this thick, and I hate carrying paper. It's digitally available online. It was was put up by McKinsey at McKinsey.com, talking about 12 disruptive points. And if you just basically Google McKinsey 12 disruptive points, you'll find the article, and you'll find the download link for the full article and for the full report. It's pretty heavy stuff. And what they did is they basically went and looked at the space, and they looked at, okay, what's going to be the next thing that's going to tweak the economy. And it was pretty cool. There was a session where Ford, and of course, as a reminder, Ford was the one that invited me to the event. Some of you may have seen my YouTube video and Jeffrey and I's YouTube video that we put up driving a 2014 Mustang. Those are up on the website at geeknewscentral.com. I'll have a link up for you. You'll be able to see the Google Glass version, which is a little washed out because it was great for in the car, but looking out the windshield, some of it was because the sun was so bright there. We didn't get a great video with glass, but watch the two and you'll kind of get an idea. But one of the things that was said, and basically I was just taking highlights during the conference, and this was said by a variety of different people, but one of the things one of the Ford reps says, and I think this was kind of curious, is that Ford says it's scary what a car company knows about you and the contract car companies have with consumers. The contract meaning you need the social contract. So, they have all this data now. The cars are becoming very smart, right? And many times, based on what you have for features in your vehicle, they know where you're going, where you're parking, where you're driving, how fast you're driving, all this stuff. And one thing that the Ford rep says is, will companies like Ford monetize or serve the customer? He says big companies, and he basically went on to say big companies have a tendency to monetize first with apps and things integrated into devices we own. He said that really, though, that if they didn't focus on the monetization, they could focus on helping us and being intuitive. And in the end, it'll make them more money because, the car is actually helping us make decisions. Going beyond kind of just like car data and stuff that car companies use, one thing that was talked about in a session talking about companies today need a newsroom. Basically the social media cycle's 24/7 now. Those traditional press release doesn't work, and targeting methods per platform is different, and you're not necessarily reacting to the big advertisement that's on television today. You're reacting to something else that they're doing within the company socially, something maybe with the environment, something maybe with a technology advancement and so forth. So all companies today need a newsroom. That basically is what they want to do ultimately is they want to, by having this continuous cycle of information, they want to provoke customers to give them feedback and provide input. One of the things that Ford set up with their Cadillac line was a 24/7 the Buick line was a 24/7 concierge service, which was a huge, huge success. And they've learned a lot more about their customers and what their customers want and what they need, and it's really developed. It's been huge. But they're saying that regional companies that are doing regional business are ill-prepared to deal with the digital world. And but one thing they continue to say is engagement is the most important factor for loyalty, and non-engagement is a kiss of death for companies today when there's no engagement. And I think it goes true for podcasting as well. When there's no engagement back from the audience, like if you guys don't engage me, it becomes a situation where you're worried about your value that you're giving your audience. So that's why I always encourage you guys to email me here at geeknews@gmail.com or leave a comment via the website, because it's always that engagement, that back and forth that's good. And non-engagement is basically a kiss of death, which I thought was kind of a interesting comment that they made. So here is a couple of things that I thought was some profound things. Were say creativity is more about personality. We're not going to get more creative people by exposing them to more tools. So basically, there was this talking about this session about creativity in general. And you guys know that I've talked about on this show that, from a creative standpoint, I have lots of great ideas in my brain, but I can't unlock them. I can tell someone what I want, and oftentimes they can replicate that on paper or pen or in a graphics design or something. And sometimes maybe my ideas will conflict with others. They talked about the value of groups and creativity, and ladies, from a Hive standpoint, they're finding out that women groups are becoming much more powerful than groups of men. So if you have a group, let's say, where there's 2 guys and 3 ladies on the actual team, and you're coming up with creative ideas and working together as a group, that a team with 4 ladies and 1 guy will actually, on average, perform higher and be more creative and come up with better solutions. Even mixes are not so successful. So if you have a company and you're forming groups, and you've got the staff breadth, you'll definitely want to, and based on some studies that have been done, you want to load them up heavy on the ladies' side to make that group more productive. which I thought was kind of cool. But going back into creative side, they're saying that, the creative types at this conference were basically saying the tools need to be better. And for me, you can have all the tools in the world and I still can't draw. I can draw stick figures with a piece of paper and so forth. And we've talked about that here before. And so it takes a true artist to bring someone's vision to life. And, you really, are you the creative person or are you just the person that gives the nudge? So I think in a certain point that some people were born creative and others weren't. That's the way I kind of feel. Now, one of the things that kind of freaked me out, and I'm serious, this freaked me out a lot. I know some of you that listen to the show are against GMO type foods. I've always said, and based on my background as growing up, and kind of one of those little things that, you guys know that I spent 24 years in the military. But before that, before I came to the Navy, my dad was a contractor, had heavy equipment, bulldozers, backhoes, and so forth. But also, my grandfather had a cash crop farm. And so I spent many years, up until I was probably 18, and be working for my dad, working for my grandfather, and working the field, and baling hay, and feeding animals, and doing all that stuff, true country life. And one thing that we knew even back in the early days, that there was bioengineering going on with corn to try to make corn more productive, and depending on what type of soil and water conditions and everything else. So a lot of that was going on, and some of that was not as advanced as what being done with GMO. And I guess GMO was really derived in the maybe 96, 97 time frame, but really there was all kinds of bioengineering going on before, but most of it was in the lab. So hold on to your hat. There's this new thing going on now with that they kind of talking about biocurious, and there's biolabs that aren't necessarily in a traditional lab. It might be a biolab in your next door neighbor's garage. They might be doing DNA sequencing. They might be doing gene splicing. They might be doing things with plants, with animals. I'm serious. This is going on. This is apparently a huge, huge thing going on in California right now. And I was a little freaked out about some of the stuff they were talking about. Talking about DNA and all kinds of you've got to be kidding. And talking about what's going on now in these small circles of groups, small 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bio-curious people that are doing stuff in the biology space, that to me almost, I was thinking, my God, you need to be in a clean room, with scrubbers and have control. And because, what's someone going to grow in a petri dish if they're messing around with that, it's going to cause some sort of biohazard. But apparently this bioengineering is the new rave. And it's the thing that really kind of set me back in my chair. They had this discussion, and it wasn't recorded. It was one evening. It was a fireside chat. And they had 3 or 4 people on there that just kind of offhandedly talking about this as if it was an everyday occurrence. So if you do some Googling about biocurious and talk about luminescent plants and stuff they've talked about being in China. Now this should scare, I'm going to break protocol here, but this should scare the living hell out of all of us. In China, many of you guys know what a grouper is, right? Grouper fish. Well, in China, they've been tinkering with the genetics of a grouper fish, and they've got grouper fish that are twice as big and supposedly more nutritious. And I'm thinking to myself, we have a natural order of things. In the livestock community, what do? This is what a farmer will typically do. He will raise the best bull that he is able to, and they will spend good money to get a bull that has an amazing gene line, right? And then they'll breed that bull with the top heifers that are in his farm stock. And over a period of years, they will breed in improvements into livestock. It's got man-held type of direction and design, but there's not this gene splicing and bio. They've been doing artificial insemination for many, many years. If a farmer can't afford to own a particular animal that may be very expensive, he'll go out and maybe mortgage his farm to get the right type of breed line that he wants to inseminate with his, whether it be sheep, hogs, or beef, to more lean, bigger. It's just all the things that go into the stuff that goes onto our tables, and they're doing this with everything else. Don't get me wrong. The lettuce that comes onto your table today is different than the lettuce was grown in the garden 20 years ago. It's less bug resistant and all this stuff. So we know this has been going on, but it's usually been done in a lab, right? And I know the GMO folks are real sensitive. As a matter of fact, we had this big battle in Kauai here just recently about GMO that's pitting agribusiness against the people, against the government. It's just ugly, and it's ultimately going to cost folks in Kauai jobs because the agribusiness people are going to move out. Long story short here, what's happening in controlled environments is nothing compared to what the heck's is being done in garages and makeshift labs. And there's no regulation. They're saying they're self-regulating, and if they have someone that's a little bit off the cuckoo side, that they're self-regulating, well, that cuckoo guy can go off and start his own lab, and the next thing you know, we got some guy that's some whack job that is introducing a group of fish that has been genetically modified into a lake and completely upset the apple cart. And I really wanted to talk about this. You can tell because it freaked me out big time. And you think that the GMO folks that are really against GMO type foods are, I told these guys that I basically raised my hand and I said, as soon as the people that are against this type of activity understand what you are doing, the hammer is going to come down in a big, big way. And I think you'll all understand that much of the GMO stuff that's been going on has been done in labs under controlled environment. You may not like it, but that's the way it has been. And they've got protocol and they do testing and they make sure it's safe for human consumption. And many will disagree with me in saying that they can't trust those results. But here you've got this other group who are starting community farms and doing all kinds of things to be self-sustaining, and they are doing bioengineering and essentially this same type of stuff, but without any control. It should set you all back in your seat a little bit, and it did me. So I'll point you to some of the discussions that happened at Techonomy 13, and that should freak you out. Let's talk a little bit about, there was a lot of time spent talking about millennials and some of the stuff that's happening in the space. We've talked a little bit about it here already. There's this huge upswelling right now in Silicon Valley of idealism versus I want to get rich. A lot of the folks that are starting in startups right now have put idealism above cash. And I always think that, I always kind of say under my breath, BS, because in the end, everyone's about the cash. But they say with the millennials, there will be, idealism will be growing. And what's going to happen is investments are going to be made not necessarily on ultimately the bottom line, but what's better for the community and what, basically improving things that maybe government has upset the apple cart on. And, some of the stuff that we've talked about in the show here recently. So this is just a few small things that I kind of wrote down that I thought would interest you guys as I come back from this event. But the person that made the biggest impression on me, and I know I've spent a lot of time on this, and I purposely wanted to, was Tony Esch in his presentation from what he's doing in Las Vegas. And here's a quote that Tony said during his presentation. He says, "What if instead of just focusing on ourselves, we turned the entire concept inside out? What if we took an approach that's more analogous to NYU, where the campus kind of blends in with the city and you don't really know where one begins and one ends?" So I know many of you have been down in downtown in Las Vegas. Zappos took over the old city hall, and they were really kind of looking around what was going on in the downtown Las Vegas scene. And many of you have been on the Fremont Street experience. You get to one end and it kind of ends, right? Well, the other end ends at the Plaza Hotel, and that's where my team normally stays for CES. Of course, I've talked about the Plaza having been remodeled 3 or 4 years ago, and it's really kind of the gem in downtown Las Vegas to stay at. But at the other end, Tony has taken like $350 million of his own money. Now, Tony, he's the CEO of Zappos, but Zappos is now owned by Amazon. And when he was 24, he sold Link Exchange to Microsoft for $265 million. And then he helped join Zappos as an advisor and investor and became their CEO. And when Zappos was acquired by Amazon for $1.2 billion, he obviously cashed out. So instead of taking his money and just kind of, sitting on it, he's basically building this culture in downtown Las Vegas where he's enabling more collisions. And he wants the way they're building and designing their communities and their workspaces for startups, and they're investing in startups, all kinds. You name it, from tech to food industry. It's just the whole breadth. And this presentation, I want you guys to watch this presentation. It's on company, cities, and community. And I was really impressed with what they're doing. One of the things that's really cool was that about 90% they bought an apartment complex, and 90% of the people that live there are Zappos employees. They reserve 10% of the rooms for people that are coming into Vegas and get in contact with Tony, and basically he lets them stay at this fully furnished apartment while they're in town. And basically in trade, they do discussions. They have these open mic nights kind of type of thing where people come and the folks that are staying there can kind of talk about their businesses and what they're doing. And basically he's trying to build collisions. He's trying to build everything so that when people are together in this group, they share ideas, and it builds the mind hive, right? And the way he's really designed this is really, really incredible. And it talks about partnerships, and he basically went around and he toured Nike, he toured Google, he toured Apple, and he looked at those campuses, and he asked his employees what they wanted, and all kinds of really the stuff that they're doing over there really hit home. And I want you to watch this video. If you don't do anything in this show, watch this one. A link will be up in the extra show notes I have available for you tonight. But anyways, I want to just again thank Ford for bringing me out to Techonomy 13. It was a great event. Really got my mind to thinking. Made me actually came back and change my marketing plan on some of the stuff we're doing at CES, changing our focus on how we're approaching vendors. Because I really kind of had this mind shift to saying, yeah, that makes some stuff that was made sense. And we look forward to being able to presenting some of that as we move forward. But, I immediately started blasting my team with emails. And it's one of these types of events where you have these real super high level people, where you may listen for 30 minutes to a panel and just one guy has to say a sentence of content. And you're like, whoa, it kind of hits you in the face, right? And you write that down and you come home and say, from there, I'm making a change on something I'm doing. Because it's always good to get these these high level impactors to give you feedback. But anyway, I have the link up in the show notes for you. Check out this video with Tony. Take the time to watch it. It's just like 20 minutes or so, 20, 25 minutes. And email me here at geeknews@gmail.com. Tell me what you think about it. Really would love to have your feedback. Okay, so I've talked about this a lot. Obviously, we're not into the tech yet, so I'm going to get through as much tech as I can tonight. I've got it mixed up in here, and I appreciate you guys letting me indulge tonight on really what I was looking at here and basically my experience from last week. And it was good. It was good for my brain to recharge. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Good article over on Boing Boing. And this is not techie, but a mother was fined $10 for not including Ritz crackers in her kid's school lunch. Apparently in Canada, if your kid goes to daycare or to Head Start or something like that, they have to be provided 1 milk, 1 meat, 1 grain, and 2 fruits and vegetables in their meals. And if they're not, if you fail to put in those exact ingredients, you get fined. Now, in her meal today, she had meat, potatoes, milk, carrots, and an orange. So let me think about that. Meat, potatoes, milk, carrots, and an orange. So she was missing a grain. So they charged her $10 because she was missing a grain or a piece of bread. But, to me, you think about what moms put in kids' lunches today. Meat, potatoes, milk, carrots, and orange. Sounds to me like a pretty healthy lunch. Is that insane or what? Anyway, link will be up in the show notes. I'll let you guys check it out. I don't know what people get off these days, finding them for not packing a good lunch for your kids. That looked like a pretty good lunch to me. Hey, Yahoo has announced it plans to encrypt all internal data by early 2014 to keep the NSA out. So that should not come as any surprise to anyone. Another great article is about a prankster, and this is a Gawker article. This prankster was basically using some social media online tools to basically detect who was in the immediate area. He looked their Instagram photos up. He looked at their Facebook profiles, and he basically went around and said, "Hey, Charlie, how you doing? Yeah, glad to see you." And the guy's like, "I don't know you," and then he would then kind of go into a discussion and freak him out. I'll have the link up in the show notes. He really could have got ugly and some of the stuff that he did. One person really got offended and said, "I'm going to call the police," but it was all stuff available that the people had put on social media that was publicly available. So I have that link up for you to watch, a little 3-minute and 43-second video to check out. Hey, article over on Gizmodo. Pentagon super hoarders waste billions buying stuff they already have. Having spent time in my previous life ordering parts, ordering cables, one thing is talking about potentially $8 billion worth of stuff that they may have duplicates of or too many. If you think about a big business, and that's really what the DoD is, and you're serving so many different entities. There's this agency called the Defense Logistic Agency, and basically they're the ones that DLA. They are your shopping warehouse. If you need a bolt, if you need a nut, you need a cable, you need a connector. If they have it, it's in their system underneath this system called the National Stock Number, and and every part may have 25 source vendors. So you may come up with a particular cable number, put it in the system, and it shows comparables. Basically, every stock number that is comparable, they're usually underneath a single master national stock number. So if I'm doing research on the internet, trying to figure out what part I need to order, I punch something in. Well, sometimes their system is not smart enough to know that suitable substitute should be the one that they should send me instead of them ordering another piece. So it's kind of this big monster, and I'm sure they're dealing with legacy systems. But there's a great article on Gizmodo about how really bad it is, and any person that is a logistics genius probably could save our taxpayers a lot of money. And what's funny about DLA is once you get something, you can't send it back. It's like, you get something wrong from Amazon. You're like, that was the wrong part. Let me send it back to them. There's no return. There's no way to return something, which is always was bizarre to me in the total 24 years. You ordered something, you got it was the wrong part. Unless it was something like super highly expensive where they could send back. You had already gotten charged for it. You owned it. And oftentimes you ordered the wrong part. That kind of went into a box. And then it would end up going not in the trash, but to Dermo through their a place where they would just send it, and people could go in and buy all those wrong ordered parts. So you didn't want to do that because it costs money from the group that you were working in. But it always was bizarre to me how you couldn't return something to DLA. They didn't want it. It probably cost too much to put it back in the inventory system. Not unlike Amazon, which you basically can send anything back, right? There's a great a new book out called An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth, what going to space taught me about. It's on available at Amazon for $16.80. Good reviews on this thing so far, and it talks about basically a view of one astronaut going to space, and in her experience. So I have that link up in the show notes for you to check out, and we're always looking for cool stories like this. Also, there's a special report on Giggle. I'm talking about Apple's groundbreaking bet on its clean energy infrastructure and some of the stuff that's been happening in North Carolina as a result. Some Google initiatives and so forth on clean energy. So I have that link up for you in the show notes, but it talks about the amount of money that these companies have spent trying to go green and the amount of land that they've had to use and so forth to make it happen. But I'll have that up for you in the show notes as well. A good article over on Bitcoin.com talking about a Senate committee listening to Bitcoin experts, and basically the Senate hearing that went on so far pretty positive from the government. Today, Bitcoin had a high of $900.98 per Bitcoin. It closed the Bitcoin tracker today, or ticker, closed at $786 a Bitcoin. So, man, there is this huge meteoric rise of Bitcoin value right now. So, a lot of this thing is really, really heating up. So, talked about some of the challenges they're having. But don't you wish you could have bought some Bitcoins when they're like a couple of bucks? And now they're $786. I missed it. I missed another one. I really, really did. All right, kind of in the weirdo side, there's an article on Wired talking about a new kind of food service. And basically, when you talk food and IBM, those two kind of don't go together. But IBM is using big data to invent creative recipes. So basically, they programmed a computer that uses math, chemistry, and vast quantities of data to churn out new and unusual recipes. And it's actually doing a pretty good job and making new dishes and combinations, and it's really interesting. So the way it works is when they start the program, you define the problem. It basically, you're asked to pick a key ingredient, choose some regional cuisines you'd like to explore, and decide on what type of dish you're interested in. In other words, a soup or a meat or a vegetable. And basically, you go through them. This thing kind of kicks you out an answer, something new, and it's kind of wow. So here's one of the things that the computer kicked out: Spanish almond crescents. It looks like a real delicious cookie to me. And it just goes on with different things to supplement and talks about the ingredient mix and the pairing and everything. Who would have ever thought that IBM would have built a computer to come up with food recipes? But ladies, sounds kind of exciting. And even the fellas out there that cook as well. So very, very cool stuff. Hey, there's an article over on the Washington University of St. Louis talking about a volcano that's been discovered smoldering under a kilometer of ice in West Antarctica. Yes, a volcano smoldering, under a kilometer of ice in West Africa. This could only end badly. So I'll have a link up in the show notes. They've known about this for a while, but they think this thing could, if it continues to act the way it is, prove to be very interesting and maybe even devastating. So a link will be up in the show notes. Hey, in Fukushima, TEPCO is started removing fuel rods from a storage pond at the Unit 4 reactor building. So this is pretty cool. The first of the fuel rod assemblies at the plant's number 4 reactor was transferred from an underwater rack on the 5th floor to a portable cast. The step is an early milestone in decommissioning the facility, and mid doubts that they're able to do this all the way through. So anyway, 22 unused fuel rods have been moved to the cask, and they're going to continue this process. So the process of moving the rods have begun, and I think this will be the most dangerous time in this operation. So we'll see where this goes. But the entire removal of all fuel inside Unit 4 could take until the end of 2014. Along with talking about nuclear, a fusion reactor has achieved a tenfold increase in plasma confinement time. And of course, you guys know that in fusion, the amount of energy and the amount of heat, fusion requires temperatures greater than 15 million degrees Celsius. And of course, we know many reactors top 100 million degrees, and that's hot enough to melt anything solid. So confinement requires planets use gravity. But they've had to come up with different ways to confine and basically trap the reaction so that, number one, these things just don't melt down. But believe it or not, in China, they had a 30-second, basically confinement for 30 seconds using magnetic confinement. And this is a pretty big deal, and the science community is going gaga over this. But again, fusion continues to be the hope that will end up being cheap energy for us. But only time will tell. But this continues to move forward. Comet Izon is really becoming visible to the naked eye in its first trip past Earth here. It had a pretty remarkable flare-up in brightness last week, and it's become visible to the naked eye, and it's passed Earth on its journey, as it passes Earth on its journey towards the sun. Astronomers have been looking forward to the comet passing, so they're saying the comet will be increasingly harder to see as it nears the sun over the next 10 days, but for now, it's reported to remain a particularly bright object that's visible to the naked eye. Very dark skies in some locations. It's largely in the morning hours, and we know that around Thanksgiving Day is when it's supposed to see if it survives its pass or gets ate by the sun. So we'll keep an eye on Ison over here over the next couple of weeks. All right, FBI has stopped responding to the most prolific Freedom of Information Act filer, and basically Mother Jones is a guy who is Mother Jones has a website has an interesting profile, Ryan Shapiro. He's a punk rocker turned animal rights activist turned MIT PhD student who is officially the most prolific filer of Freedom of Information Act requests from the FBI. At a high point, he was filing an average of 2 per day. In fact, he's filed so many Freedom of Information Act requests, so successful that the FBI is now refusing to respond and is giving the courts a secret explanation which they won't share. But it's being speculated that he has requested so much information. It's just like anything else. You get puzzle piece A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it doesn't matter if you're missing H, I, J. If you have K, L, M, you can piece the puzzle together, right? So they are getting a little bit worried, the FBI is apparently, that he might be able to pull together enough info from these FOIAs where he could learn something just based on the total volume of data. So we'll see where this leads. I think this is the first time the FBI's went to court and said, hey, we're not going to process anymore from this guy because he's got too much data. All right, I want to show you guys, those of you that are watching, I want to show you a picture. And it's a picture of $800,000 on a bed. And this $800,000 was acquired by a team of folks in 2012 that basically cheated ATM machines into giving out more than their normal limit. And you can see stacks and stacks of Benjamins there. why they were so stupid to have posted this on there. Basically, took a picture with their cell phone, but they did. But federal authorities have arrested 5 men accused of taking part of a 21st century bank heist that siphoned $45 million out of ATMs around the world in a matter of hours. 5 individuals, all out of Bonkers, New York, have been arrested. Anthony Diaz, 24, Saul Franjol, 24, Saul Geno, 24, Jandai Polanco, 29, and Jose Valero, 25, have all basically been indicted, and $800,000 sitting on their bed in a hotel room, and a pretty impressive sight to see $800,000 laying there. Hey, as a reminder, folks, our crowdfunding continues for CES, and for $25 you can get a T-shirt. So we hope that you'll get in on the action and basically donate $25 to get a T-shirt for our crowdfunding effort. All you got to do is go over to bit.ly/TPN crowd to help us out. $25 will guarantee you get a T-shirt, and they're really cool. Brian, my graphics designer over at Raw Voice, designed it, and you'll want to have one when we're doing our TPN coverage. So I hope that you'll help out in our crowdfunding campaign. Okay, so let me switch gears here. I just heard my daughter yell. I wonder if she is unable to get in the house. I know my wife was going down the hill because she's going to Okinawa. She needs a coat. And that's something we don't wear too much here in Hawaii. If you're a V-Bulletin user, or you've been on the V-Bulletin forums, they had an attacker use a well-known exploit to steal customer login data. So if you've used V-Bulletin or you have a V-Bulletin website, be advised that that's been a little bit of an issue here over the past couple of days. I'll have a link up show notes on that. There's also an article from Reuters basically saying that Anonymous has been hacking government computers for a year. And they talk about since December 2012, Reuters have learned from a memo distributed by Thursday by the FBI that the hackers apparently exploited a flaw found in Adobe's Cold Fusion to target computers installing backdoors and PCs from the Army, Department of Energy, Department of Health and Human Services in order to be able to access them over and over. Now, Department of Energy computers, folks, that's an Army computers. It's pretty serious stuff. So apparently the data stolen includes information from personnel, as many as 104,000 employees, contractors, family members, and other person data may have been stolen. Also, information on almost 2,000 bank accounts have been stolen. So, this thing is just getting out of control. We're all going to wake up someday and our banks are going to be empty. Our bank accounts have nothing in them. It's gotten pretty crazy indeed. I've just recently put in more security features on my personal profile because all the stuff I continue to read, it just every day I'm seeing more and more stuff that continue to pop. And I said, okay, at this point, we'll have this and this in place. It's going to cost me a couple $100 a year to have both, maybe almost $300 a month, at $300 a year to have both the solutions in place. But it's gotten to the point, folks, it just makes me very, very nervous of the stuff that's going on. And being that I'm public and I'm out there, you just never know. So I've laid another layer of protection in. I won't talk about the company that I've hired, but you can think about some of those security type things that you hear talked about, basically everywhere that's talking about those particular topics. So I'd love to hear, what are you guys using to protect your identity? What are you guys using for identity theft protection? What are you currently, using? Love to hear on you from that. Pirate Bay co-founder says you can't beat politics with new technology all the time. So Peter Sunday, one of the co-founders of the Pirate Bay, one of the most political outspoken of the site's original creators, and as a former spokesperson to the torrent site, is basically running for a seat in the European Parliament as a member of the Sweden's Pirate Party. And he says sometimes you just got to change things from within. So I think this is kind of a new and novel initiative. good luck on his election bid, and I'm sure it'll be much to the chagrin of folks like the MPAA and RIAA. YouTube, boy, oh boy, people are not happy about the Google Plus implementation of leaving comments. A petition on change.org has called on Google to scrap the move. It's received nearly 200,000 signatures. Personally, I like having a real person's information when they leave a comment, because sometimes you get trolls in there, and it's just a little bit ugly. Hey, congratulations to NASA on its successful launch of the Maven mission to Mars. So that went off without a hitch, and they are pretty pleased with everything so far. I guess the spacecraft continues to track and be healthy. So a nice launch this afternoon. The folks over at Lifehacker have a great article talking about how to basically track everything in your life without going crazy. And it kind of ties into some of the other privacy stuff that I talked about earlier on that guy that was basically using social media to basically get information about people that he was talking to in the street. But, there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. You can track your sleep cycle. You can track your fitness. You can track your driving. And a variety of different products, the Fitbit, the Tinky, the Sleepbot. All these devices really can track everything that you're doing. Your food consumption, you have to kind of punch that in. But a lot of stuff there that's being tracked on what we're doing and energy expended. If you're looking to, kind of have a digital monitoring, this is the time to do that. Hey, if you went out and got a PlayStation 4, did any of you have the blue line of death? Well, there's been some mixed news around the launch, and apparently a recent report suggests that interns at a Chinese Foxconn plant claimed that a portion of the first available PlayStation 4 consoles were purposely sabotaged during the manufacturing process. Basically, it was a internal revolt that basically says, hey, we were protesting working conditions, pay, the whole 9 yards. So some of these failures may be related to folks that basically, the gear had being sabotaged a little bit. So kind of an interesting move by the employees. Good article or an Engadget. Hey, Sprint and Best Buy are offering Sprint in conjunction with Best Buy are offering students a year of free cell phone service with a catch. Okay, here's the deal. We know that many students have trouble scrounging up money for loan payments, let alone cellular services. So Sprint and Best Buy have teamed up on a promotional cell phone plan built for those non-existent budgets. It's called the My Way promo. Adds a line with a year of free phone service to a parent's existing account. Customers just need to sign up at Best Buy and prove that the individual is going to from elementary through a college graduate. So there's a catch to it. While the plan includes unlimited calls and messaging, data is capped at a gig, unless you pay an extra $10 per month for unfettered internet access. Even so, this could be a pretty inexpensive way to get Junior a cell phone for a year at a much reduced price. Okay, so consider that. This deal ends on January 1st. Link will be up in the show notes. All right, the DoD is planning to buy 92,000 hybrid and electric vehicles over the next 7 years to trim its fuel bill. So this is a nice thing to see, a government agency do. But it's basically said that they can trim $17 billion or trim a lot of their $17 billion fuel budget by basically having these hybrid and electric vehicles. So that's cool. But, how much is their electricity bill going to go up then? That'll be the next question. MakeUseOf.com has a talk about a new app called Mr. Reader, and it's getting pretty good reviews. So it's an RSS reader. I'll have a link up in the show notes for you to review on that. Great article over at Engadget talking about Office Remote for Windows Phone. So if you're a Windows Phone user, you can download this new app. It allows you to steer presentations from across the room with your Windows Phone. Again, it's called Office Remote, is the app available for the Windows Phone. Appears that Major League Baseball and the NFL are basically going into battle against Aereo, and they're basically saying, hey, if Aereo isn't shut down, they're threatening to limit sports broadcasts to only paid events. And so this is a new couple of groups that are basically going after Aereo. And they're claiming that they may have to move their games to cable and satellite channels if Aereo wins. Okay, well, they want their cake and eat it too. Sorry. Honda started testing walking assist device in large-scale U.S. trials, and this is designed for folks that have had a medical condition that makes it hard for them to walk. It might be a stroke patient or so forth. But this device basically is kind of smart, and it helps people basically walk. And the walk assistant is a combination of hip sensors and motors, and can get some patients back to a normal stride. And if nothing else, get out and get some exercise. So anyway, they're doing widespread tests or clinical trials, and at the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago. So pretty cool to see where this is going. I know Honda's been working on this for a while. All right, fellas, are you doing the cooking on Thanksgiving? Are you cooking the turkey? Are you setting the table? Or maybe ladies, if you haven't set a formal dining table before, life hackers to the rescue here, that you can learn how to set a formal or informal table for your Thanksgiving meal. Shows you how to lay out the napkins, the cups, the saucers, the butter knife, the plates, everything that you are going to set up for your meal. And I know many of you probably don't have a stack of china. I think I've got a 10 place setting. It's just, the big bowl, the big plate, the little plate, the smaller plate, the coffee cup and dish. You got the roll plate, all this stuff that I have to pull out of a cabinet once a year, wash it, get it ready, and set. It's quite a pain. But I think we're going to invoke the. If my wife does go to Japan, we're going to invoke the zip tie rule. We're going to pull 4 plates, 4 forks, 4 knives, 4 spoons, 4 cups out of the cabinets, and then I'm going to zip and maybe a couple of pans, and we're going to zip tie everything shut. We have salt, pepper, and garlic, the stuff that we need for condiments, but all the drawers for all the plates will be under lock down, so that what needs to be washed is just the basic stuff we'll need. I probably won't get away with that on Thanksgiving Day, but anyway, an idea, right? Sling is launching a revamped mobile app as well as a Roku channel. So basically, Monday's giving Slingbox users more ways to watch TV remotely on the go. The app revamp comes as Sling is looking to expand its relationship with pay TV. I met one of the investors and one of the principals of Sling at Techonomy too, so that was kind of cool. So anyway, Sling update for those of you that own a Slingbox, definitely check that out. And finally, we know the PlayStation 4 is out, but Xbox One versus the PlayStation. I'd love to hear you guys which way you're going to go, and send me your thoughts and ideas on how you like or hate one or the other. Definitely would appreciate it. Okay, we're already long, so let me look and see what we had in email. I know that there was a bunch of stuff that came in over the past week. I got an email from MS Small Biz. It says, hey, best selfie ever. Astronaut becomes viral sensation with his picture in space. I have that link up in the show notes for you. Hey, got an email from one of my good friends, Ron. He just he left Hawaii. He's back on the East Coast, living in Chesapeake, Virginia, and he gave me a shout out. He sent me a screenshot of his speed test. And Ron, I'm glad you got the power, my friend. And it was nice to hear from you. I'll ping you back on what's been going on here as well. Let's see here. Oh, I can move that. Doesn't need to be in that cable. I'm showing my $6,000 bill for internet service for, why did I put it there? Let's put it up in the CS 2014 folder. Hey, Robert. Robert Simpson says, hey, Todd, thanks for the Google Glass invite. I got it within 24 hours after the first email from Sam. Just a heads up for anyone else. Google gives you just 7 days to complete the purchase. Although I have X amount of dollars in escrow from a recent domain sale, I figured it'd be better transfer some money from my personal account and make sure it got covered in time. I have a couple of ideas for apps for Glass. I'll keep you updated when it arrives. Thanks again, Rob in Pittsburgh. And can't wait to hear about it, Rob. I really, really can't. Got an email from Gary. And Gary's saying, Todd, hey, just wanted to ask you how I get on your Google Plus page. New to Google, but haven't been listening to you since the Angle Digits. Thank you for your time. Looking forward to getting started in Google Plus. Aloha. Hey, Gary, it's all in the show notes. If you look at the show notes, the Google Plus page link is in the show notes. You just click on that. It'll take you to the page, okay? I got an email here from Michelle. He said, hey, Todd, TiVo will be... this needs to go in a different... I don't know how those ended up in that folder. All right. Daniel, hey, I apologize about that ComSail 3 not working. Understand completely your frustration there. So we will, I'll let you know what we find out when I do my call with the GoDaddy rep later this week. Okay. Got an email from Jim. He says, "Hey Todd, he shared a NASA post with me. He says, getting ready for a journey to Mars. NASA's Maven spacecraft instead of payload. So basically, has some pictures of the Maven before it was basically rolled out. I'll have that linked up. Got an email from Bree. Yes, Bree, we got your donation. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that. Got an email from Jeff. Basically talking about the article over in The Verge. Twitter was nearly SMSSY, Smissy. So basically it goes on to some information about the early days of Twitter name picks. Some of you may have seen that already. So I have that link up in the show notes. And also we heard that Apple scrapped their plans for an Apple TV, which is sucks. That comes another thing from Jeff as well. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap me up, folks, here. I did get an email from DJ Quad talking about, hey, Todd, I heard in your last show you're looking for a new design for Geek News Central. You may want to check out Avada, A-V-A-D-A, at theme-fusion.com/Avada. The framework is awesome. Look at the various demo pages. If you need help with it, let me know. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for that suggestion. It's not quite what I'm kind of looking for yet, Phil, but it's definitely helped me with my design ideas as well. All right, I think that's it. If I missed your email, I apologize. Things have been pretty crazy here. I hope you guys liked hearing about Techonomy 13. And please consider working with us on our crowdfunding. $25 gets you a t-shirt, a pretty cool t-shirt at that, and helps us basically on our way to raising money to cover some of the expenses at CES. And we want you to partner with us. So be our partner. Come on and help with the crowdfunding effort. I appreciate all of you that have already. And those of you that are considering to do so, link is up at geeknewscentral.com. All right, folks. Hey, everyone, thanks for being here. We'll see you on Thursday. Everyone have a absolutely fantastic week. Everyone take care. We'll see you next time. Aloha. All right, those of you on YouTube, we're going to bounce out of here. I'm still jet lagging a little bit from last week, so best for me to punch now. We'll see you next time, okay?